The Terran starship Resolute moved quietly through the dark stretch of uncharted space. Most of the crew were asleep or busy with late-night duties, but Lieutenant Marcus Hale was fully awake on the bridge. His eyes stayed locked on the glowing scanner screen in front of him. A strange signal, weak and unstable, kept blinking on the edge of the display. It wasn't a star. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't debris. It looked almost like a distress beacon, but its pattern didn't match any known species. Marcus leaned forward. "Captain, I have something. Not sure if it's friendly." Captain Rowan stepped beside him, frowning as she studied the readings. "Distance?" 3,000 kilometers, Marcus said. "It's drifting, slowly spinning." Rowan gave a sharp nod. "Bring us closer, and prepare a boarding team." Minutes later, Marcus stood in the airlock with 3 crew members: Tessa, the engineer, Ray, the medic, and Jonah, the security officer. They wore full protective suits, helmets sealed, weapons secured but not raised. No one spoke much. The eerie blinking signal filled everyone with a nervous tension. Tessa checked her wrist display. "Whatever this thing is, it's losing life support fast. We need to move." The airlock door slid open, and the team crossed the short gap into the floating pod. The outside hull was cracked like a smashed egg, but the inside was strangely smooth and filled with dim purple light. Faint mist drifted in the air. Jonah muttered, "This doesn't look like any escape pod I've seen." Marcus scanned the interior. "Stay close. Keep your helmets sealed." The pod hummed, a soft, tired sound like a machine on its last breath. As Marcus moved deeper, a small cry reached his ears, high-pitched, weak, and desperate. "Someone's alive," he said quickly. "Follow me." They found her lying near the center console, a young alien girl, about Marcus's age in appearance, her skin pale blue with faint silver patterns across her cheeks. Her hair glowed faintly like soft strands of starlight. She looked fragile, her chest rising and falling like she was struggling for each breath. Tessa whispered, "She's barely conscious." Ray knelt beside her, checking vital signs through the suit's scanners. "Her energy levels are crashing. I've never seen readings like this." Suddenly, the pod shook violently. A crackling ripple ran across the walls, and the purple lights flickered. Marcus looked around sharply. "Tessa, what's happening?" Tessa's face tightened behind her visor. "The pod's core is unstable. It's generating some kind of dimensional feedback. This whole thing might collapse." Jonah raised his weapon out of instinct. "Great. So we're standing inside a ticking bomb." The girl opened her eyes, barely. They glowed like twin silver flames, full of fear. She whispered something in a language none of them knew. Ray shook his head. "We need to evacuate her now." Marcus didn't hesitate. He lifted the alien girl carefully, but the moment he touched her, a sudden pulse blasted from the pod's center, an invisible wave that hit everyone like a hammer. The walls warped for a split second, bending as if the whole pod existed in 2 places at once. Tessa screamed, "Dimensional fold collapse!" Marcus acted on instinct. He slammed his wrist device, activating the experimental human adaptive field generator strapped to his suit. A glowing blue shield spread around him and the girl, forming a bubble of stabilizing energy. The collapsing wave struck them again. The shield trembled, flickering like a candle in wind, but it held just long enough for Jonah and Tessa to drag Marcus toward the exit. "Move!" Marcus shouted through gritted teeth. The hum of the pod grew into a roar. Purple lightning arced across the walls. The entire structure twisted like metal caught in a black hole. They reached the airlock. The Resolute's own field sealed around them just as the alien pod imploded behind them in a silent flash of light, folding in on itself and vanishing like it never existed. Inside Resolute, the emergency doors slammed shut. The girl lay weakly in Marcus's arms as he set her on a medbay stretcher. Her legs shook violently, her entire body trembling like she was freezing from the inside out. Ray immediately began treatment. attaching monitors and stabilizing patches. She's experiencing psionic shock. Severe. Marcus removed his helmet. Psionic? Ray nodded. Telepathic species, energy sensitive, whatever happened in that pod, it overwhelmed her. The girl's silver eyes fluttered open again. She stared at Marcus directly, her voice trembling as she spoke in broken English, likely translated automatically by the ship's system. You... What did you do to me? Marcus blinked, caught off guard. I saved you. That's all. But the girl shook her head, frightened and confused. Her legs trembled harder, almost uncontrollably, as if they couldn't hold her if she tried to stand. No, she whispered. My legs, they still shake. From last night. What was that? Wave? Ray glanced at the monitors. Her nervous system is overloaded. She can barely control her limbs. It's not an injury, it's the psionic aftershock. Marcus stepped closer, trying to calm her. I activated a protective field. It stopped the collapse from killing you. Her eyes widened slightly, not in trust, but in shock. Human technology. Did this? Tessa, who had just arrived in the med bay, answered softly. The adaptive field is new, very new. We didn't know if it worked on psionic energy until, well, now. The girl's voice shook. Your field mixed with my mind. I felt it. It was like fire. And ice. Marcus frowned. I didn't mean to hurt you. She stared at him, still trembling. You didn't hurt me. You changed something. Ray's eyebrows shot up. Changed what? The girl looked away, breathing shakily. My name is Cyrala. I am Astron. My people. They warned us not to use dimensional travel without full protection. But our pod failed. The fold collapsed. She paused, closing her eyes as if remembering the terrifying moment. And then your field touched me. It fused with me. Or with my psionics. I don't understand it. Marcus crossed his arms thoughtfully. All I know is the field was supposed to stabilize hostile environments. It wasn't designed for minds. Cyrala's legs kept trembling. She tried to sit up, but Ray gently pushed her back. You shouldn't move, he said. Your body is still recovering. Cyrala met Marcus's gaze again, her expression tightening. Last night, inside the pod, when the fold collapsed, I felt something from you. A push. A shield. It saved me, but the energy still passed through us both. Marcus felt a chill crawl down his spine. I didn't feel anything. You wouldn't, she whispered. Humans aren't psionic. But for me, it was like falling through the universe with someone holding on to me so I wouldn't disappear. Marcus wasn't sure how to respond to that. Before he could say anything, alarms suddenly flashed red above them. Incoming vessel unknown. Captain Rowan's voice boomed over the intercom. Bridge to medbay. Lieutenant Hale, report immediately. Marcus turned, confused. Captain? We followed the collapse trail, Rowan said, and we found something else. Another ship, a big one, heading straight for us. Cyrala's eyes widened with dread. They found me, she whispered. My people, the Astron. Ray blinked. That's good, right? They can help you. But Cyrala shook her head violently, her trembling worsening. No, they will think. Humans captured me. They will think you attacked our pod. Her breathing quickened in panic. They will not listen. They will strike first. Marcus stared at her. How hostile are we talking? She swallowed hard. Astron ships do not warn twice. Marcus exchanged a tense look with the others. He finally turned toward the door. I need to get to the bridge. As he left the medbay, Cyrala called out one more time, her voice shaking like her legs. Marcus, whatever you did last night, it changed everything between our species. They will not understand it. and they will come for me. Marcus paused, looking back at her. Then we'll just have to make them understand. With that, he rushed toward the bridge, unaware that this single rescue would ignite the first major contact between humans and a psionic species, a contact that could either lead to peace or a war that would shake the galaxy. The door to the bridge slid open, and Marcus Hale walked in, breathing hard from moving so fast through the long corridors of the Resolute. The room was full of tense energy. Every officer stared at the large front screen, where a massive ship slowly came into view. It was shaped like a curved blade of silver light, elegant yet terrifying, moving silently in the darkness of space. Captain Rowan folded her arms. That ship has locked onto us. Power signatures show their weapons are warming up. Marcus stepped forward. That's the Astron vessel. The girl we rescued, Sirala, says they might think we took her hostage. Rowan gave a slow nod, not taking her eyes off the screen. We haven't sent any message yet. We needed to understand the threat level first. Marcus leaned closer to the display. Any response from them? Lieutenant Chen, the communications officer, shook his head. None. Not even basic greeting signals. Marcus frowned. Sirala said they attack without warning. Rowan finally looked at him. Then we need to make them understand before they fire. Get back to the medbay and bring her here. If she can talk to them... A sudden alarm cut her off. Enemy ship. Charging weapons. The bridge blazed with red warning lights. Rowan snapped around. Shields up! Full defense! Blue energy shimmered across the hull of the Resolute. But everyone knew human shields were basic compared to alien weapons, especially against a psionic species. Marcus didn't waste another second. He turned and ran for the elevator, heart pounding. Meanwhile, in the medbay, Sirala lay on the bed, still breathing unevenly. Her legs shook in weak spasms she couldn't control, as if her muscles remembered the collapse from the night before and refused to calm. Ray, the medic, hovered beside her, checking her readings. Your body is stabilizing, but those tremors will take time. Sirala stared at her trembling hands. The energy pulse. It went through me. It still lives inside my nerves. Tessa, sitting near the wall, added softly, Human bodies sometimes shake after trauma, too. You just need rest. Sirala gave a sad smile. Astron do not rest easily. Our minds never stop speaking to us. Before either of them could reply, the door burst open and Marcus ran in. Sirala, we need you on the bridge, now. Ray stood. She can barely walk. Marcus nodded. I know, but that ship outside is preparing to attack. You're the only one who can stop them. The moment Sirala heard attack, fear washed over her face. Her legs trembled harder, almost like the energy was shaking her from the inside. She whispered, They will fire if they believe you harmed me. Marcus stepped to her side and helped her sit up. Then we need to show them you're alive and safe. Ray hesitated. We can put her in a support chair. It will stabilize her legs. Within minutes, they guided Sirala into a lightweight medical hover chair, a floating seat designed to help patients with mobility problems. It hummed softly, lifting her slightly off the ground, her legs still trembling but not bearing weight. Sirala closed her eyes, gathering strength. Very well. Take me. Marcus pushed the chair out of the medbay, Tessa jogging behind them. They moved through the ship quickly. Crew members paused, shocked to see the alien girl awake. Some whispered, some stared in awe, but no one stopped them. Back on the bridge, alarms were still flashing. Captain Rowan turned as they entered. Sirala, I'm Captain Rowan. Please tell me you can speak to your people. Sirala swallowed, her silver eyes full of fear but determination. I can try, but I need a connection. Chen quickly pulled up a holographic interface. We can link your voice to all channels. Sirala nodded, her legs trembling harder. Marcus placed a steadying hand on her shoulder. She glanced at him briefly, drawing courage from his calm presence. Chen activated the channel. "This is the Terran starship Resolute," Rowan said clearly. "We have one of your people, Sirala, rescued from a collapsing vessel. We request peaceful communication." The screen remained silent. The Astran ship continued to glow brighter with weapon energy. Then Sirala whispered, "Let me speak." Rowan nodded. Sirala leaned closer to the microphone. Her voice shook, both from fear and weakness. "This is Sirala of the Astran Council line. I am alive. Humans did not harm me. They saved me from the fold collapse." There was a pause. Then a sudden sharp reply came through the speakers, the Astran voice deep and full of authority. "Identify proof. Astran signatures only." Sirala closed her eyes. A faint glow shimmered over her skin, like moonlight spreading through water. Her psionic energy stabilized for a moment, enough to send a brief pulse into the communicator. The Astran voice on the other side gasped faintly, as if shocked. Marcus whispered, "What did you do?" Sirala answered weakly, "A psionic imprint. Only my people can make it." Captain Rowan straightened. "Astran vessel, do you confirm?" Silence followed. Long, heavy silence. Then the screen flickered, finally showing an Astran commander. His face was sharp and elegant, with glowing eyes like Sirala's, but filled with deep suspicion. "Sirala," he said slowly, "you are alive. But why are you on a human ship?" She breathed softly. "Because without humans, I would be gone." The commander's eyes narrowed. "Explain." Sirala told the story with simple words, about the failing pod, the collapsing fold, the destructive wave, Marcus's shield, the explosion that nearly swallowed them. But she did not mention the psionic fusion she feared. That detail felt too personal, too confusing, and she wasn't ready to reveal it, not even to Marcus. The commander listened silently, his expression unreadable. When she finished, he spoke again. "Your survival is strange. The fold collapse should have ended your life. Human devices cannot stop psionic shock." Sirala lowered her gaze. "Their device was different." Marcus felt uneasy but kept quiet. The commander continued, voice colder. "The Astran Council believes humans are primitive, unpredictable, dangerous. Why should we trust them now?" Sirala looked up, trembling but firm. "Because they did not hesitate to save me, even when they risked their own lives." Marcus blinked, surprised by the strength in her voice. Captain Rowan stepped forward. "Astran Commander, we request peaceful exchange. We want no conflict." But the commander didn't seem convinced. "Your shield mixed with Astran psionics," he said sharply. "That is impossible. Unless—" His eyes narrowed. "Unless your technology has dangerous properties we do not understand." Rowan's jaw tightened. "Our device was only meant to stabilize environments. We don't intend to experiment on your people." The commander studied Marcus. "You were the one holding Sirala during the collapse?" Marcus nodded slowly. "Yes." The commander's eyes glowed brighter. "What did you do?" Marcus sighed. "I don't know. I activated the device to protect her, that's all." Sirala added softly, "He saved me. I would not be speaking now if not for him." But the commander seemed troubled. "Our council will not be satisfied with this explanation. They will demand investigation, and humans may not like the questions they ask." The entire bridge fell silent. Sirala's legs trembled once again, and she held the arms of her chair tightly. Marcus noticed and moved closer. "Sirala," he whispered, "are you okay?" "No," she admitted honestly. "My people, they will not stop until they understand the fusion." Her voice quieted. "And they may not care if their search hurts you." Marcus stepped in front of her chair, blocking her trembling body from the commander's intense stare. "Then they'll have to go through me," he said. Rowan exhaled softly. "Commander, listen. We are willing to cooperate, but we will not hand over our officer or our crew." The commander's expression darkened. Before he could respond, his console flickered. Someone off-screen spoke urgently. The commander's face tightened. He looked at Sirala again. "Your presence here is causing dispute within the council. Some want your return. Others think your survival proves humans have dangerous power." Sirala's voice shook. "What does that mean?" "It means," the commander said slowly, "that more Astran ships are coming." Marcus clenched his fists. Rowan's face turned pale. Sirala whispered in horror, "No. They will attack. They will not listen." The commander did not deny it. He only said, "Prepare yourselves. What happens next is no longer in my control." The transmission cut. The screen went black. Sirala's trembling grew worse, fear mixing with exhaustion. Marcus placed his hand gently on her shoulder again. "We'll protect you. I promise." But deep inside, he knew the situation had just changed from dangerous to nearly impossible. The bridge of the Resolute felt colder after the Astran commander ended the transmission. No one spoke for several long seconds. The screen showed only black space, but everyone knew more hostile ships were coming. Captain Rowan broke the silence. "Marcus, take Sirala to the field lab. We need to understand what exactly happened between you two during the collapse. If we know that, we might have a chance." Marcus nodded. "Understood." Sirala looked frightened and exhausted, still trembling in her hover chair, but she gave a small nod of agreement. "Yes. I need to understand it too." Rowan stepped closer to her. "Sirala, if we can prove to your people that this was an accident, maybe they'll stop the attack." Sirala lowered her eyes. "My people fear what they do not understand. If your device fused with me, they will fear it more." Jonah, who had entered the bridge during the tense discussion, added quietly, "Then let's give them something not to fear." Marcus gently pushed Sirala's chair out of the bridge. Tessa and Ray followed behind, carrying devices and medical scanners. The elevator hummed softly as it descended. The ship around them felt different now, quieter, heavier, like everyone sensed the danger approaching. The Resolute's field lab was normally a bright, calm place where scientists tested new equipment. Now it felt like the heart of the ship's anxiety. Screens glowed with data, wires ran across the floor, and a containment sphere sat at the room's center like a giant glass bubble. As Marcus guided Sirala in, Dr. Howard, the chief science officer, looked up sharply. He was tall, gray-haired, and serious. "Finally, bring her here." He tapped the containment sphere. "We need her inside." Sirala's legs trembled harder at the sight of the glowing sphere. "Is this a prison?" Howard shook his head. "No. It's an isolation field. It keeps outside energy from interfering and protects both you and us during tests." Tessa added softly, "Think of it like a safe room." Marcus helped Sirala into the sphere. The transparent surface sealed behind her with a soft hiss. She hovered inside, looking small and fragile against the bright lights. Howard began adjusting controls. "Marcus, step onto the other platform." Marcus stepped into a second sphere across from Sirala. When it sealed, he felt the faint hum of energy around him. Howard connected the two spheres with a thin beam of blue light. "This will allow us to detect any psionic resonance between you." Sirala swallowed nervously. "I can still feel the aftershock. It's like a second heartbeat inside me." Marcus pressed a hand against the inner surface of his sphere. "What does that mean?" Sirala met his gaze. "Your field. It didn't just shield me. It touched my mind. Psionic energy is living energy. When it hits something, it leaves a mark. Howard frowned deeply. So you're saying the human device created a psychic bond? Sarala hesitated. Not exactly a bond, more like a link that hasn't healed yet. Tessa's voice was gentle. Can it be dangerous? The alien girl closed her eyes. If we do nothing, yes, it might become unstable. Howard exhaled. Then we need to stabilize it. He activated the scanner. A wave passed from Marcus's sphere to Cyrilla's. The lights flickered, readings spiked, and Cyrilla gasped as her legs trembled violently again. Marcus shouted, "Stop! You're hurting her!" Howard stopped immediately. Cyrilla panted, gripping her seat. "No, it's fine. I just wasn't ready." Marcus looked at her, worried. "Cyrilla, you don't have to—" "Yes, I do." She steadied herself with effort. "If more Astran ships arrive, and they sense this uncontrolled link, they will think you have captured part of my mind. That will be war." Marcus fell silent. Howard adjusted the settings carefully. "Okay, lower intensity. We try again." This time, the wave between the spheres was softer. The blue light pulsed gently like a heartbeat. Cyrilla's eyes widened slightly. I feel it," she whispered. Marcus frowned. "Feel what?" "Your presence." Her voice was calm, almost surprised. "Your thoughts are closed, but your emotions, they echo faintly." Marcus blinked. "You can read my emotions?" "No," she corrected quickly. "Not read, just sense. Like warmth coming through a wall." Ray, watching from outside, whispered, "This is incredible." Howard nodded. "It means the field fused deeper than we thought. Marcus, do you feel anything?" Marcus focused, waiting for some sign, but he felt nothing unusual. "No, I just feel normal." "That is expected," Cyrilla said softly. "Humans are not psionic. The link is one-sided." Howard typed fast. "If we can help Cyrilla stabilize her psionics, the link might fade." But before he could start another scan, the lights suddenly flickered again, stronger, harsher. Cyrilla stiffened. "Something is coming." Marcus's heart tightened. "Astran ships?" She shook her head. "No, something inside the link." Howard frowned. "Impossible. There's no external interference." But Cyrilla wasn't imagining it. The blue beam connecting the two spheres brightened, as if reacting on its own. Cyrilla's breathing quickened. "The aftershock," she said. "It's reacting to our testing." Suddenly a pulse burst between them, strong but not harmful. Cyrilla gasped, and Marcus felt a strange pressure in his head, like someone knocking on a locked door. Tessa jumped back. "What was that?" Howard stared at the readings. The energy spike came from Cyrilla, but it echoed from Marcus too. Marcus gripped the inner wall of his sphere. "I don't even have psionic energy," Cyrilla whispered. "You don't. But you touched psionic energy through the field. You were at the center of the collapse with me. The energy passed through you, even if you couldn't feel it." Marcus's eyes widened. "So I'm part of the link too." "You both are," Howard said grimly. "And if the Astran detect this, they may think it's a threat." Cyrilla trembled again, her eyes full of fear. "If they arrive and sense this unstable bond, they will fear it. And if they fear it," Marcus finished for her, "they attack." Cyrilla nodded slowly. Howard pressed more buttons. "We need a stabilization attempt right now. Cyrilla, try focusing your psionic energy gently toward Marcus." Cyrilla hesitated. "I can try, but my body is still weak." "Just lightly," Howard said, "enough to calm the link." She closed her eyes. Light spread faintly from her skin again, moving slowly along the beam that connected them. Marcus didn't feel the energy, but he saw the scanners showing a stabilization curve. Howard whispered, "It's working." But then, a piercing alarm echoed through the entire ship. Multiple warp signatures detected. Astron fleet arriving. Captain Rowan's voice filled the lab. Marcus! Sirala! Whatever you're doing, finish it fast! They're here! Marcus felt tension flood his chest. Sirala, hold the connection! She tried. The light flickered. Her body shook harder. Her voice trembled. It's too soon. My mind, my legs, everything is unstable. Marcus pressed his palm against the sphere. Sirala, look at me. She opened her trembling eyes. You're not alone, he said. Whatever happens, we face it together. Just focus. Something changed in her expression, fear turning into determination. She steadied her breathing, letting her psionic glow rise again. The light spread across the beam, smoothing the chaotic spikes on the scanner. Howard exhaled in relief. Stability increasing. The link pulsed once, soft, rhythmic. Sirala whispered, It's stabilizing. I can feel it. Then the lab shook violently. Boom! The lights flickered. An officer's voice cried through the intercom. Direct hit! The Astron ships have opened fire! Sirala gasped in horror. No! They shouldn't have detected anything yet! Howard checked the panels. They weren't aiming for us! They're firing warning shots, trying to scare us! Captain Rowan yelled over the intercom. Not warning shots! They're preparing boarding pods! Marcus's blood ran cold. They're coming here? Sirala trembled violently, fear overwhelming her. They want to take me back, and they won't care what happens to any of you. Marcus pressed both hands to the sphere. Sirala, stay with me. We're going to protect you. As the ship shook again and the alarm lights turned red, the link between Marcus and Sirala pulsed stronger, like a heartbeat preparing for a crisis. The Astron were coming. And the bond inside the lab was the only thing holding the fragile piece together, or the spark that might start the war. The Resolute shook again as more impacts echoed across its hull. Red lights flashed through the corridors, alarms rang sharply, and the entire ship seemed to tremble like a living thing under pressure. Captain Rowan's voice came through the speakers, strong but tense. All crew, brace for contact. Astron boarding pods incoming. In the field lab, Marcus slammed his hands against the transparent sphere. We need to move her now. Dr. Howard released the containment lock, and Sirala's sphere opened with a hiss. Her hover chair drifted out, her legs trembling violently from the stress. We must hurry, Tessa shouted over the alarms, but Sirala was staring wide-eyed at the ceiling, her silver eyes full of fear. They're close. I can feel their psionics. Many minds, all full of suspicion. Ray checked her vitals quickly. Her body's stressed again. We need to get her somewhere safe. Marcus shook his head. No, we need her on the bridge. That's the only place we can talk to the Astron leaders. The ship rattled as another blast hit the shields. Jonah ran into the lab, panting. Boarding pods landed on Deck 4 and Deck 6. We have Astron soldiers cutting through the hull. Marcus tightened his fists. They're trying to take her by force. Sirala whispered, If they take me, they will never listen. They will think you corrupted me. Marcus stepped in front of her chair. Then we're not letting them take you. He grabbed the handles of the hover chair and pushed her fast through the door. Ray, Tessa, Jonah, and Howard followed behind. The hallway flickered with failing lights as the ship groaned under pressure. Sirens rang louder. The elevator doors opened, but Jonah shouted, No time! Stairs! They rushed into the emergency stairwell, pushing Sirala gently down the smooth ramp. The entire ship shook as the Astron boarders cut deeper inside. As they moved, Sirala pressed a hand to her temple, wincing. The link. It's reacting again. Marcus looked back at her. The bond? She nodded, breathing fast. Your presence. It's calming the energy. If you move too far from me, it grows unstable. Marcus stepped closer immediately. Then I'm not going anywhere. They hurried through the halls until they reached the bridge doors. Before they opened, Captain Rowan's voice called from inside. "Get her in here!" Marcus pushed Sarala through the doors, and the entire bridge fell silent. Because right outside the front screen, dozens of giant silver Astran ships surrounded the Resolute. Their glowing energy weapons were armed and ready. Sarala gasped softly. "So many," Rowan pointed to the screen. "We received a message. They're demanding your return within 5 minutes. If we refuse, they attack with full force." Marcus guided Sarala's hoverchair to the center of the room. "Then we speak to them." Chen opened the communication channel. The Astran commander reappeared, his glowing eyes sharp and furious. Behind him stood several psionic guards, all watching closely. He spoke with cold anger. "You ignored our command. Your ship will be seized." Sarala lifted her shaking hand weakly. "Commander, please, listen." But he cut her off. "Sarala, you are injured. Your psionic signature is altered. This human vessel has changed you." Marcus stepped into view. "We didn't change her. We saved her." The commander's voice hardened. "And in doing so, you created a bond that should not exist. Human minds cannot connect with ours. This link is unnatural." Sarala looked up, her voice soft but steady. "Unnatural does not mean dangerous." The commander leaned forward. "Then prove it. Release the connection." Sarala's trembling increased. I cannot. Not yet. It is still unstable." Howard jumped in. "We can stabilize it in time, but not under attack." Rowan faced the screen. "Commander, we are asking for peace. Give us a chance to explain." But the commander shook his head. "Your presence has weakened her. And your officer," he pointed at Marcus, "holds part of her psionic imprint. That is unacceptable." Marcus stepped closer, expression stern. "I didn't ask for the bond, but I'm not letting you hurt her to break it." Gasps filled the bridge. The commander's voice grew sharp. "You dare stand between an Astran and his people?" Marcus didn't blink. "If that's what it takes." Sarala looked at Marcus with surprise, her trembling slowing slightly. His closeness calmed the unstable link. The commander glared. "Human courage or human foolishness, I cannot tell." Sarala raised her voice again, louder this time, despite her shaking. "Commander, you judge them without understanding. Their device saved me. Marcus shielded me with his own energy. He could have run, but he stayed with me." The commander hesitated, but only for a brief moment. "Even so," Sarala interrupted, her eyes glowing slightly. "Let me show you." Everyone stopped. Marcus looked confused. "Show them what?" Sarala took a deep breath. "The link. It is not harmful. If I control it, I can project a psionic message to the Astran ships, but I need your presence close. Your mind stabilizes the echo." Marcus swallowed hard. "If it helps keep the peace, I'm with you." Rowan nodded. "Do it. This is our only chance." Marcus knelt beside Sarala's hover chair. Sarala placed her trembling hand over his. Her skin was cold, but her grip, though weak, was filled with trust. The lights dimmed as Sarala closed her eyes and focused. A soft silver glow rose from her skin. Howard watched the monitors. "Energy rising, stable," Sarala whispered. "Marcus, focus on calm thoughts. Anything peaceful." Marcus nodded and closed his eyes, thinking of the quiet stars outside, of breathing slowly, of protecting someone who needed him. The link pulsed through Sarala like a heartbeat. She lifted her hand and channeled the connection outward. A glowing wave of psionic light spread from the bridge, passing through the Resolute and reaching the Astran fleet. Every Astran mind in range felt it. A gentle projection, full of clarity, truth, and courage. Sarala's voice echoed inside their minds. "Humans did not harm me. They saved my life. They protected me when everything collapsed. And they stand beside me now." As the wave faded, Sarala collapsed back into her chair, breathing hard but alive. The Astran commander stared into the screen, stunned. Behind him, the psionic guards looked confused, not angry but shaken by the clarity of her message. The commander spoke slowly. "Sirala, that projection was pure. No corruption, no coercion." Sirala nodded weakly. "I told you, humanity is not your enemy." The commander finally looked at Marcus. "You stabilized her? A human?" Marcus stood tall. "Not by choice, but yes." The commander stepped back, thinking deeply. After a long silence, he spoke. "Then perhaps our understanding of humans is incomplete." Rowan stepped forward. "Does that mean you're standing down?" The commander exhaled. "For now, we will return Sirala home for examination, but under one condition." Sirala stiffened. "What condition?" The commander looked at Marcus. "He comes with you." "The bond cannot be studied unless both sides are present." The bridge went completely silent. Marcus blinked. "You want me to go with Sirala?" Sirala's eyes widened in shock. "No, that is too dangerous." But Marcus stepped forward. "If it prevents war, and if it protects her, I'll go." Sirala stared at him, trembling, not from fear, but from emotion. Captain Rowan nodded slowly. "If you're sure, Marcus, humanity will support you." The commander raised his chin. "Prepare for transfer." Sirala reached for Marcus's hand again. "This journey will not be easy." Marcus squeezed her hand gently. "Then we face it together." Outside, the Astran fleet powered down their weapons, choosing peace for the first time. For the humans and the Astran, this was the beginning of a new path. Not because of force, not because of fear, but because one act of courage created a bridge between two worlds, and two people refused to let fear destroy it.